Words are not just sounds. They're actions in disguise, shaping our relationships, reputations, and even the trajectory of our lives. Spoken carelessly, they can unravel trust or spark conflict. Spoken wisely, they can inspire and heal. The Stoics understood this power, and their wisdom reveals 6 phrases no intelligent person would ever speak aloud. Imagine this scenario. You're in the middle of a heated argument. The words are coming fast, emotions are running high, and then suddenly you say something you instantly regret. Sound familiar? Words once spoken can't be undone. They linger, sometimes causing ripple effects that lead to hurt feelings, damaged reputations, or a loss of trust. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, were deeply aware of the power of words and the responsibility that comes with them. They believed that mastering one's speech is a cornerstone of wisdom and self-control. For them, speaking carelessly or impulsively was not just a social faux pas, it was a failure of character. After all, speech isn't just about communication, it's a mirror of our inner world. And so, if you want to live with clarity, wisdom, and purpose, it's essential to master what you say, and just as importantly, what you don't. But what does this mastery look like in practice? What does it mean to embody wisdom in your words? It starts with knowing what not to say. These 6 phrases we'll explore today aren't just careless words, they're reflections of unproductive and self-defeating thought patterns. By recognizing and avoiding these pitfalls, you'll elevate your communication, strengthen your relationships, and cultivate a more resilient and intentional mindset. Let's begin with the first phrase. I can't control this situation, so what's the point? This is a dangerous sentence. It reflects a mindset of resignation, one that robs you of agency. It's an easy trap to fall into. After all, life is full of challenges and uncertainties, many of which are beyond our control. But the Stoics had a clear antidote to this kind of thinking: the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. Imagine someone who's struggling with a difficult work situation. Perhaps their team isn't performing well, or a project is failing. They throw their hands up and say, "There's nothing I can do." This mindset isn't just defeatist, it's paralyzing. A Stoic, on the other hand, would approach the same situation with a different question. What can I control here? Maybe they can't change the entire outcome, but they can control their effort, attitude, and creativity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Intelligent people avoid saying, "What's the point?" because they understand that their power lies not in changing the world, but in changing themselves. By focusing on their response, they reclaim their agency, no matter how difficult the circumstances. The second phrase intelligent people avoid is one we've all heard, and perhaps said ourselves, "It's not my fault, it's theirs." Blame is an easy reflex. It provides immediate relief by shifting responsibility onto someone else. But what does blaming others actually accomplish? The answer, very little. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself and us of this truth when he wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." What he meant was that we waste energy when we get caught up in things outside of our control, like the mistakes of others. Imagine someone at work who constantly blames their team for failures. The deadline wasn't met because they didn't work hard enough, or the report was wrong because of their errors. While these statements may be factually accurate, they don't solve the problem. Instead, they erode trust and create an environment of defensiveness. A Stoic response would shift the focus inward. What could I have done differently? How can I help prevent this mistake in the future? Intelligent people avoid blaming others because they know it's a sign of weakness, not strength. Instead of focusing on who's at fault, they focus on what they can do to improve. By taking responsibility, even for things they didn't entirely cause, they earn respect and foster collaboration. Next is the third phrase, perhaps the most damaging of all. I'll never forgive them for what they did. At first glance, holding a grudge may feel like power. It's a way of holding on to a perceived sense of justice. But the Stoics saw this for what it really is, a chain that binds us to anger and prevents us from moving forward. Seneca, in his essay on anger, writes, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." Consider someone who's been wronged. Maybe a friend betrayed their trust or a colleague undermined their efforts. They say, "I'll never forgive them." Years go by and the resentment festers. Who suffers the most in this scenario? Not the person who caused the harm, but the one who's holding on to the anger. For the Stoics, Forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional baggage of resentment. Forgiveness is an act of self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Intelligent people recognize that holding grudges doesn't make them strong. It makes them prisoners of their own bitterness. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting the lesson. It means freeing yourself from the emotional weight that clouds your decisions. Imagine carrying anger for years. It saps your energy and keeps you stuck in the past. By letting go, you reclaim clarity and emotional freedom. By letting go, they reclaim their peace and focus on what truly matters. The fourth phrase to avoid is deceptively dangerous. I know everything I need to know already. Arrogance is a trap, one that disguises itself as confidence. But the Stoics were clear. True wisdom comes from humility and the recognition that there is always more to learn. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, humbly wrote, "If anyone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." Imagine a seasoned professional who refuses to adapt to new technologies or ideas because they believe their experience makes them immune to change. Over time, they stagnate, while others surpass them. Intelligent people avoid saying, "I know enough," because they understand that learning is a lifelong process. Instead, they approach every situation with curiosity. They ask, "What can I learn from this?" By embracing humility, they open themselves up to growth, innovation, and deeper understanding. The fifth phrase is one we've all been guilty of at some point. I don't have time for reflection or self-improvement. Life is busy, there's no denying that. But what happens when we neglect reflection? We end up living reactively, moving from one task to the next without ever asking ourselves, am I on the right path? Marcus Aurelius famously kept a journal where he reflected on his actions, thoughts, and decisions. This wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. Reflection allowed him to align his actions with his values and correct course when necessary. Imagine someone who's so consumed by the demands of daily life that they never take a moment to pause and reflect. Over time, they lose sight of their goals and values. Intelligent people understand that reflection isn't a waste of time. It's an investment in clarity and direction. Even 10 minutes a day spent journaling or meditating can make a profound difference. They avoid saying, "I don't have time," because they know that self-improvement is the foundation of a meaningful life. Finally, we come to the sixth phrase, what will people think of me if I fail? This fear of judgment is universal, but the Stoics saw it as one of the greatest obstacles to living authentically. Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In other words, focus on living according to your values, not on what others might think. Imagine someone who hesitates to pursue their dreams, whether it's starting a business, switching careers, or sharing their creative work, because they're paralyzed by the fear of failure. What happens? They stay stuck. They never try. Intelligent people avoid this phrase because they understand that the opinions of others are beyond their control. What matters is not whether they fail, but whether they have the courage to try. They ask themselves, what will I think of myself if I don't? This shift in focus, from external judgment to internal integrity, frees them to take bold action. Let's bring it all together. These 6 phrases: I can't control this situation, it's not my fault, I'll never forgive them, I know enough, I don't have time for reflection, and what will people think of me if I fail, are more than just words. They're reflections of limiting beliefs that undermine our potential. By avoiding these phrases, you take a powerful step toward greater wisdom, resilience, and self-mastery. The Stoics understood that our words shape not just how others see us, but how we see ourselves. So choose your words wisely, speak with intention, live with purpose, and remember, wisdom isn't about perfection, it's about progress, one thoughtful word at a time. If you found these insights valuable, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more wisdom inspired by the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy. What do you think? Are there phrases you'd add to this list? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and here's to speaking and living with intelligence, wisdom, and purpose.